I put The Guitar by Guy Clark first on my list because I was most excited to hear your reaction to this one.
Right. So Guy Clark, The Guitar, and this was like a really like I listened to the song like a bunch of times because I was really into the story.
I thank you. Yes.
I got super into the story of this song. Like I kind of saw this as like a short film. Like
I agree. And I thought of you so much because you play guitar, and I just felt like you could also feel this a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It's what I like about the song is it reminds me of like a lot of that like stuff like the southern the blues and all that, and like all that mythology stuff, and you got Robert Johnson going down to the crossroads, so you've got all this like this like rich storytelling heritage in the South where it's like a lot of this mythology and sort of kind of occultism a little bit, but like it's just these great stories, folk stories, right? Yeah. And so when I heard this, I was like, wow, this is like really like one of these kind of folks. Like basically walks into a pawn shop, says, I want to get that guitar. How much is it? It's a piece of junk. And he's like, well, I don't know. Play it. And of course he plays it, and it's like almost like magic happens. And then it's like, this is great. And then he's like flips it over and it's got his name on. It's just like all this like kind of like, who's the shop owner? Was he an angel? Was he a devil? Like you start like thinking about it. Was the shop even ever there? It kind of reminded me of like Needful Things. If anybody's ever heard Stephen King's Needful Things, like that's kind of what it felt like, and I was really into it. I'm like, I want to know more of the story. Like, what happens afterwards?
Yes,
like,
and you have to listen to it at least a couple times to really piece together all the details, because you miss some that first and second time you listen.
You do, and I started reading the lyrics, and I was really into this, and I was like, okay, so wait a second, is this even more meta? That like the guitar he's playing in the song as he's telling his story is that guitar,
right?
So I started getting super meta about the whole thing, and I was like, wow, is that what he's trying to say? Like in the guitar, like so I was all into this. I really enjoyed it, and I'd never heard of Guy Clark. And as I started doing research, I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's extremely well known, and like, this legend of like folk Americana music with country. Like I had no idea of the history of Guy Clark. I really no idea.
I think this one was as recently as like late to like 2009 or something, if I'm remembering. Like it's not like you would listen to it and you would almost think that this was an older song, and I don't believe it was.
Yeah, no, I think this was released in
I should know that, but I don't.
Hold on, I'm getting it up right now, or I just had it actually.
But to our listeners, when you listen to it, like you're gonna think that it's in like that Johnny Cash like window of time, and I don't believe it is.
Yeah, it's not. It's oh man, come on. I just saw it too because I was actually on. It was a whole art. You know what? Rolling Stone had written a whole article on like top 12 essential songs written by Guy Clark. Which once again, I was like, oh my god! Like
Rolling Stones did it.
Yeah, Rolling Stone in 2016 did an 12 essential songs, and I thought that this was on there, but now it's not coming up here.
Of course not. Like when we're trying.
But yes, I think it was released in I want to say 2009.
See, I think the same date, which, I mean, just the fact that it was 2000s anything just blows my mind, because when you listen to it, it's just not what you currently hear.
No, but I like what you said there, because you're right. It is kind of has like this Johnny Cash-esque kind of thing. It's like, that talking, the storytelling. It's like storytelling accompanied by like some like hot guitar playing. It's crazy. So I got to say, I really like the song a lot. I thought it was cool, and I do want to I want to listen to more Guy Clark, because I once again had no idea he had this rich heritage of music that I completely just didn't know existed, which is the great thing about the show and discovering music, right? It's that's the fun part of going to listen to music and going down a rabbit hole. So I'm giving this 4 records because it was a really cool song. I was super gripped by the story, and I could totally see it playing out as like a short film or something like that. And I'm like, well, this could be like the catalyst for like a series or something like that.
Oh, for sure.
Ashley Fowler checking in. They made a documentary about Guy Clark. I'm gonna have to watch this documentary, Ashley. Thank you. I have to find this, because I'm now fascinated by like I don't know if all his music is like this, like sort of like this storytelling-esque, or if this was sort of like just a one-off type of thing. I don't know. I'm sure he probably went through phases, right? Like a lot of
Yeah,
country
yeah,
artists seem to go
very
through
like
phases
I
and
feel like
periods.
similar Johnny Cash. Like I know we mentioned him, but like how some of his songs are more singy, some of them are more storytelling. You know, it's
Right.
just the art of being able to do that. I just loved him. I was so excited to put this on your list this week because I just thought
Well,
you would appreciate it.
I do appreciate it. So I'm happy you put it on the list. I like the song. It was cool. It's cool. It's one of those cool songs. And I love the mythology um sort of spookiness to it or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
it's kind of apropos for the season.
I was just gonna say it's perfect for October.
Yeah, absolutely.